You need to know what tools you have available inside of High Level and UpHex. All right. Today, we're going to be building off of a training that I did last Thursday, which was all about building a model, creating an irresistible offer for your agency. And what I wanted to do, my idea for this was like, okay, it's cool when we go through and we can teach all these concepts. But one of the things is teaching them. And then the other thing is putting them in practice. And a huge, I mean, UpHex is not a product without High Level. I mean, really, that's kind of our ethos. That's where we started. And the agency, the SaaS agency model really stemmed from High Level. And so I thought, well, who better to come and do a quick little workshop with me than my friend, Chase Buckner, which he's right here for me. So, and if you guys don't know Chase Buckner, he is are you VP of marketing? You have a new title.
No, I'm the director of product marketing now. Okay.
Cool. Director of product marketing. He actually did our regional spotlight of UpHex in December of 2021. And then again, I was able to meet up with him in that very office, I think, down in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, where he lives.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and we had a good time. We went and got some tacos. And we talked everything UpHex, High Level. And so I thought it would be really cool to have him come in today and participate with me in creating some agency models based on the niches that you guys are all in. Okay. So we're going to take up about half of this call. I mean, in terms of timing, we'll take up half of this call going through and doing that exercise. And then we'll do a Q&A, and try and do your Q&A based around, Chase's stuff, because we don't get opportunities to have, the High Level folks on very often. So let's make sure we take advantage of that. All right.
I did run an agency for almost a decade as well. So I'm happy to answer any types of questions.
I should say, Chase, is there anything that you want to add to that?
No, happy to be here.
Dude, I'm excited.
Hey, I see some familiar faces.
All right. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to do a quick recap on last week to frame out this training, and we are recording, so this is all good. All right. We're talking about building your agency. Okay. Just in terms of a recap, and by the way, I've got a replay of this entire training from last week on the YouTube channel. We're not going to go through this very slow. This is going to be rapid, but I want to, again, lay the foundation of the exercise that Chase and I are going to do today. All right. These are your building blocks to building an agency: a unique person, their unique problem, an irresistible offer, and then ultimately the model that you're going to implement that will build your agency. Okay. How you're going to make money, keep clients, all that kind of good stuff. All right. This is what it looks like when you're building an agency. You're always going to start with the person. A lot of people get real product happy. Products mean nothing without people to serve them with. Okay. And what you'll find is your products will be shaped around the people in a unique way. So that's why we take this process: a unique person, a unique problem, an irresistible offer, and then your agency model on not just how to acquire, but how to keep your customers. All right. We talked about how to find your unique avatar. All right. We talked about how to identify their problem. My favorite quote of this entire presentation was, if I had an hour to solve a problem, I'd spend 55 minutes thinking about the problem and 5 minutes thinking about solutions. Your business will ultimately be shaped on how well you understand your prospect's problems. You understand your prospect and their problems. That will create your unique product. All right. And then I've got a checklist of the irresistible offer checklist. You can get a full guide. I'll make this guide and all the explanation available to you guys later. And then we went to the offer creation, how to create your offers based on that checklist. All right. And then we went on to, once you've got an offer, how to present it to your unique avatar. All right. And here's just an easy way to do that: a phrase you can use and build off of that. And then I went and said, hey, let's try and what would this look like if we were doing a cold DM approach? right? We've had people blow up their agencies going from $0 to $500,000 a month in agency revenue doing just this strategy. All right, retention, we go right back into the problem solving framework. Okay, if we want to keep people, we got to go right back into understanding the problems that we've created for them, which anytime you buy something, you're going to create a new problem for somebody. If they're buying Facebook ads, what's their next problem? They got to nurture those leads. They didn't have that problem before. Okay, so now we got to keep them. This is the checklist for the retention model. Okay, and this is the ascension model. Now, it's funny because Chase and I have had conversations about this. We did another podcast on this, and we kind of look, and I think this is based off of our background, which is totally awesome. He looks at some of the things that I look at as the acquiring tools. I look at them as the ascension tools, right? And so we're going to see how to kind of pivot around using the different ingredients we have when we're making offers. And then this is how you start to develop your agency model. I help this niche get this thing without thing that they're tired of doing. Okay. We list their problems so we understand everything that we're doing. We list a promised outcome. We have to make a promised outcome. That promised outcome is tied to a price and terms. That is our irresistible offer. And then ultimately acquiring customers is fun. And it's step number one. But keeping customers, that is the name of the game. If you want to live on the beach, I got a text message not too long ago from a guy sending me a picture of his feet on the beach. And he's like, dude, I couldn't have done it without UpHex. This is awesome, right? If you want to do that, you're not going to do that just with tools. You're going to do that with the model that those tools support. All right. And then I actually showed you guys my agency. Okay, this is where we get started. So Chase, I haven't told you anything about what you're doing here really today. I mean, we haven't prepped this really. You just know high level and the tools. You know, I'm just kind of throwing you into the deep end, aren't I?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So here's what we're going to do. I am going to show you an agency model. We're going to start with the real case scenario, which this is my agency. And I'll tell you the way it's set up currently. And then I'm going to take you through a set of different agencies and their models. And then you, based on the step 1, 2, or 3, will say, hey, if I was trying to retain customers longer, this is what I would do to accomplish that goal. All right. Ascend and keep people. All right. So patient stream, if you guys want to check out my agency, you can go to mypatientstream.com, check it out there. We help chiropractors get qualified patients without paying high retainers, right? That's what the UpHex ethos is all about. The problems that we're solving for people are they get what they call low quality leads, agencies that they're tired of working with, they, get results and then they stop getting results and then, yada, yada, yada. And then ultimately not making any money on their leads. Okay. So here's the promise that I make to them. And by the way, this is the hook of my webinar when I pitch Patient Stream. How to get able to pay, that's important, able to pay qualified patients for specific services such as decompression, neuropathy, and non-surgical knee. Okay. That entire promise, able to pay qualified, those are 2 big selling points to my avatar, to my doctors. And those specialty services niche me down. And those specialty services also ascend my value because, again, who gets paid more, the specialist or the generalist? Okay, so that's my promised outcome. The way we do it, the way we fulfilled, or the offer that we make, the terms are try it for 14 days free. And then it's $497 a month after that. Satisfaction guaranteed. And this offer for us after a webinar converts from a 14-day trial to a paid customer at 80 some percent. Okay. Which is cool because then I can acquire customers in batches. And that's what I like to do. I don't like to do one-on-one demos. Don't have time for it anymore. Our current retention model, okay? Retention is the funnest thing. Retention is the thing that you guys get to play around with, that you guys get to see what best serves our clients, how do they see our company after they've been with our company for a while? So what we do is we offer a $3,000 done for you approach, which basically what that is we've got a team of stay-at-home moms. That's one of the things I'm most proud about. These are all stay-at-home moms, and they will effectively do lead nurturing. So they call, qualify, and schedule appointments for the leads that our system generates. All right, that's Ascension tool number one. And we have about 20% of the people who ascend to that offer. Okay. And then we have event marketing. UpHex is executing the same thing, and so is our team. We do $997 per event. And if they want to do like a dinner workshop, then what we do is they fill out a form, pay $997, and then we launch the campaign with UpHex, and our team does the same thing. Instead of call, qualify, and schedule the appointment, they just call, qualify, and RSVP the booking. Okay. We also do group trainings. We do, I'll bring in industry experts on, and they talk about billing, about different things. So we'll do that. And then we will do database reactivation as a quarterly initiative, right? If you're filling your funnel with all of these leads, these new fresh leads, not all of them are going to convert, obviously, but we don't want to let them go too long before we, go in and reactivate that database and harvest more sales. All right. So that's my current model. Here's where you come in, Chase. All right. I want you to shake things up for me.
Okay.
All right.
Well, before I do, I have to ask you, who does all your UpHex like doodles and stuff? They're so cool.
Well, so you mean like the illustrations with them jumping off of high level? I have a kid. My mom wrote a book and had a young man in her church illustrate it. And I said, hey, what's his name? Anyway, he's a college kid. And I said, hey, this is my logo. I would like it to do these things.
Yeah.
Can you draw some for him? And he just like with a pen and paper drew them and created some pretty neat things.
Talented fella.
Yeah. All right. So Chase, this is your first exercise, and it's patient stream chased, right? Chaseify.
Okay.
All right. So we're gonna maintain our original ethos of able to pay qualified patients for specialty service. We're keeping all that.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do the same acquisition offer, which is, 14 days free. We're going to do the same thing. But I want to rethink our retention model. Okay. I want to look at other potential things where it's like, hey, how much, because having a call center of gals that do the work, it's awesome. But it's also, I'm capped. I can't just grow indefinitely.
Yeah, it's not super scalable.
Yeah.
And that's where I think, I hope I'm here to have an honest conversation about this. This model is amazing. It's what I would say a more advanced model, right? I don't think young agencies will be able to pull this off very well, because you've got some complexity going on here. You're saying that you're going to deliver qualified patients, which means you're really good at nurturing leads and filtering out, right? So you know how to run ads, yes, but you've got tested, proven nurture that is filtering out the good leads and then getting them to book, right? So that's kind of next, a higher level ability off the bat. And then running a call center, I'll be honest, I've known lots of agencies who have tried to build and run a call center, very few who have made it work and been able to scale it. So that's, I think, don't get me wrong, a working call center in high level doing calls and chats, there is nothing better. Like that's to me like an elite agency, but it's hard to get there.
Yeah.
The third thing is, are we trying to retain people at this $497 price point or at 3K?
I want you to figure that out. I mean, because
So let's talk about it.
Yeah.
3K sounds amazing, right? It's higher ticket. And man, if I only need 20 of them and I'm rocking, right? The problem is there are very few businesses on the planet, small businesses, I would say, that pay any outside vendor $3,000 a month for anything.
Right.
And so at that price point, you are always the highest line item they have and the most scrutinized line item and the first one that they're going to cut. So by nature, the churn rate of packages like this is high, right? So that's what I would say right off the bat is, while this sounds awesome and most agencies aspire to get to a level selling a package like this, you are always going to be fighting churn, just because no business just feels good about paying, even if they're getting 5x the return on it, right? Most businesses still look at it like, this is crazy. Why are we paying these guys $3,000 a month? Like, this is a full-time employee, you know what I mean? And so I have been there, and I personally, if I were to quit High Level today and build another agency, I wouldn't go back there. I would stay at that 497 point, because to me, UpHex combined with the features of High Level will retain people at a very high rate at 497 for a very long time. Yeah. Way more scalable. I don't have to add people to my call center. I don't have to, you know what I mean? And if I were capable of pulling off this plan, I would ascend only the very best of my customers that I feel confident are not going to be pains in my butts. And I would be comfortable growing the higher ticket package at a much slower rate than most people want to do it.
Yeah. Well, so I was thinking about this from your point of view, and I was thinking, what do I think Chase is going to say? Now, here's the cool thing, right? When you're doing sales and marketing, when you're doing any negotiation, you guys, there's only two levers you get to pull: price, terms. That's it. Okay. So I have price and terms on my irresistible offer, but what's to say that I can't change my price and terms after they become a customer? One of the things that I really like this idea, you know, the execution of a call center is one thing. The execution of a website building team for me has always been another thing. But with High Level, that's now becoming, you know, very, very easy. Here is what I wonder, and I haven't done this. I mean, obviously my agency model is still what it is. But what do you think would happen if I said, hey, you've been at our 497 price point. We're going to now grandfather you in to our growth plan, which includes Facebook ads for free when you host your website, when you have your website built with our web development team. Okay. That means you currently are paying for, and by the way, we have an intake at PatientStream where we get all the softwares that they're paying for. So we're going to build you a website. We're going to replace your, and all those things that you're already paying, we'll take care of that, and you get your ads for free. You just have to go into a year-by-year agreement. So it's a 12-month agreement. That's kind of what I think would be an interesting approach to this particular model to make it stick.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I think the other point I would make, going back to this model, is that the key for me is, and this is what I coach people in that are running traditional agencies that want to pivot into what we call SaaS mode, which is, hey, just make this one change. The next person you sell, just end the sales call with this. Great. This whole thing starts with our software, their white labeled version of High Level. Go to the sign up page and put in your credit card to sign up for our software. It costs $497 a month. And then I'll activate that ads package or that call center package or that whatever higher ticket thing that you want on top. Yeah. Because that enables them to cancel the higher ticket, but I retain them on the software because the software is like a utility bill. And therefore my churn rate gets really low, although I'm frequently churning higher ticket add-ons. And
yes,
that's a model that, you know, is way more sustainable, because after time, what happens is, and I've seen this, we've been doing this for almost 4 years now. I've seen multiple agencies come back to me and say, you know what, we actually got rid of a couple of our higher ended services and we're focused more on just driving people into our 497 SaaS package, because now we have this $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 monthly software subscription running revenue. And it's incredible. It's so scalable that now we're freed up and we've sort of seen the light.
Yeah.
We just want more of that and less of the high ticket headaches. And we're just gonna, focus on growing the smaller package. So, and obviously I'm biased because, I work at high level and I believe in what the product does so much. But it is lower ticket, so it's slower growth. But I definitely think, like you talked about a website, super sticky product, right?
Yes.
We used to sell tons of websites at the agency I ran, but they were high ticket WordPress websites.
Yeah.
When the project was over, it was like, here are the keys, good luck.
Yeah.
Stupid, right? In this day and age, you would be stupid to just buy a website like that. What you need is a system, right? What's going to happen when somebody fills out the form on that website, right? And so I love the idea. If I were personally to go back into the agency world, my package would be the software and the website on the front end. It's a website. It's not even a website. It's a system on demand. Yeah. Everybody's used to on-demand stuff now. And so it never ends, right? You never stop paying me. It's a utility bill. Like you don't stop paying your power bill, right? And so that's the model I like to shoot for. Is if it's not in the utility bill category, then it has to be an add-on, because I know it's going to get canceled. And here's why. People don't realize this unless you've been doing this for a while. If you suck with your services, people will cancel them.
Yeah.
If you are awesome with your services, they will also get canceled, right?
Yes.
How many times have you had somebody say, you got to turn off these ads. We're getting flooded with stuff over here. My staff is overwhelmed. We're not prepared for this level of growth, right?
Yes.
I've heard that many times.
Yeah.
If you sell SEO, you've probably heard this before. Well, now that we're on page one,
yeah, we're done.
Need to keep paying you, right?
Yeah.
So you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't with certain types of services. And that's why having the core be a lower ticket utility offering is what carries you through. Because those people will come back too. They cancel SEO, they realize they fall in the rankings, 6 months later, they're back. And so the key is to not lose them into the abyss. The key is to maintain them on a $500 a month software revenue and let them come and go on the higher ticket.
So let me see if to recap so in this particular, and we got a couple other examples that I want to get to, but in this one, the nuance, if we were saying, hey, we'll change our terms, instead of combining them, we would maybe discount the ads to $97 a month when they have our website. That way, if they pause the ads, then we still have the website. Is that what you're saying?
I don't like to make things super complicated. I look at it as, I hate what I've learned over the years is it's much better to talk in terms of outcomes than it is features, specifics, and pricing. And so I think everybody has to create whatever model framework works for you. My personal one is capture, nurture, close, evangelize, reactivate. Every successful business on the planet has to be doing those things, right? We need to be capturing new leads, nurturing them and closing them into customers. We need to be turning them into reviews, and then we need to reactivate them into repeat buyers, right? That's a successful model. And so when I do an audit, I can back as many packages or features as I want into each one of those things, right? I can say capture, oh, you have a capture problem. Now, here's an interesting way to look at it. I could say, my software at high level will solve a big degree of your capture problem without even ads, right? I can go activate GMB chat. It's going to turn more of your Google business profile traffic into a lead. I can go put the chat widget on your site and your lead rate's going to jump up. I can do all these things to move the needle for you, but maybe I don't want to offer ads. Now, maybe I do because I have UpHex, and that's a very easy way to offer ads without the traditional pain of running ads. So now my capture is even more appealing, and I can charge a little bit more for my package because my capture is a little more robust. But the point is, I don't change my framework, right? My conversation is always, you've got a capture problem. You also have a nurture problem, right? It sounds like you close pretty well. You close on average of your industry. That's great. So you don't need sales training, or maybe I can give you a couple of little things to help you close. but you're not getting reviews. Why are you have 5 reviews and they're all great. I know you're a great business, but your competitors have hundreds. You've got a evangelization.
You got to evangelize.
Problem here.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And then same thing with, you've got too many one-time buyers. You're not reactivating people, and so whatever your framework like that is, it makes selling much easier. It makes conversations much easier because clients love to laser in on these like line items and features and packages and things like that. Whereas the truth is it's the results that really matter. And so package this, move it here, move it there, whatever. Yeah, do what you got to do. But
Outcome.
I think what helps people most is realize if you're selling lead generation services like paid ads or SEO, the churn rate's really high. If you're selling utility features that run themselves and provide value, the churn is very low, right? The churn rate of software is about 5%. The churn rate of agency services is about 62%.
Yeah.
So just be aware of that when you create your packages and your offers.
I agree. All right, cool. We're going to move on to the next one. All right. So rapid fire. And I did this one time and I've talked about this exact model before. If I were to open a new agency, this would be my model, but I'm leaving my retention idea. I'm leaving it open and see what happens when we chase a fire. All right. So orthodontics, we help orthodontics get new brace cases in batches. Okay. Not one day at a time, in batches. Okay. Unique problem. Tired of intermittent marketing results. They want faster growth. Okay. I worked with an orthodontist that just could not get off the ground. This would have been perfect for him. Okay. So here is the promised outcome. We fill your practice with new brace patients using our proven event marketing offers. We will get you 40 plus new patients in 30 days or you don't pay. That would be my irresistible offer. And I know I could do this because I did this. I'm a cheapskate, Chase. And my kid when he was getting braces, I was like, dude, I'm not paying for braces. So I went to the orthodontist. I'm like, how many patients would I have to get you?
Marketer. I love it. I've done this
how many patients would I have to get you for you to get my kid braces for free? And he goes, 10. I'm like, all right, here's what we're going to do. And I came up with this idea exactly what this is. We ran a back to school promotion, New Year, New You. We gave away a pair of braces and then 50% off. And then there was some kind of constellation. We made these little 3-day bundle giveaway packages. You had to attend the live to be eligible to get it. And then we got like 500 opt-ins. Okay. So they did the 3-day live. Afterwards, we sent a voucher, a $500 voucher to anybody who did not win. And he got over 100 patients, case value $4,000 to $5,000. Boom, a single campaign. I made that dude over $400,000 on one campaign. Why I didn't go back to do it, Chase? I got a lot going on. All right, that is your setup.
A lot of truth to dig out of that last statement that you just said, right? And so that was going to be my first point, which is this. I don't know if you guys have ever had Matt Decino on the show from HL Pro Tools.
Not yet.
He's got a great phrase he says all the time. Is like, I prefer to play an easy game. I don't like to play games where I don't know that I have a high probability of winning. And I don't like to make things harder for me than they have to be. So here's a great example of it. You did an amazing job with that campaign and generated that guy a crap load of money. Now, was his business ready for that many new people? Maybe, maybe not. Most businesses, again, if you go generate 100 new customers for them, they can't, that's a little too much than they actually wanted. But he told you 10 and he would be happy.
Mm-hmm.
I know that one feature, like a missed call text back, can generate 10 new customers a month, because I know statistically most businesses miss over 50% of their inbound calls every day. So if I can just set somebody up with an automated feature that every time their business misses a call, a text goes back to the number saying, hey, sorry, I missed your call, how can we help? If I know that I can get back one sale a day and it's a computer that's doing it, well, then I should be able to get at least 10 new customers for him per month. And now I didn't have to go through everything you went through to put together that huge campaign, which, don't get me wrong, is amazing. It produced incredible results. I just prefer to play a much easier game.
The easy button. Okay. So GMB chat.
You
you have to build off this model. Okay. We got them with the event marketing, but now we got to keep them because we don't want them to do one event. We got to keep them. So what is the retention model? G&B chat, I think, okay, you're going to get passive sales. There we go. There's one.
Yeah. I mean, in simplistic terms, I like to look at marketing as build a database for somebody and help them reactivate it.
Yes.
So you just put a bunch of people in their database with that event, right? So I would say, hey, we should probably do this once a quarter. And hey, every month we need to reactivate these people. So, you know, what is it that we are going to be sending them to generate sales when I push this button, or when I teach you to push this button yourself? And so
I didn't tell you to say that, by the way, right? I told you none of this. You've never heard me say this, right?
This is, I mean, tried and true. This is like 101, right?
Yep.
But businesses don't do it. They don't reactivate their databases. And when they do, it's very salesy and very terrible. And so I think if you can help a business do it consistently and do it better.
I want to go back to one really, really, really important thing you said. And it has become like, it says so much in marketing that people take it for granted. What is the number one job of marketing for this business? What is your job? To build the list.
Yeah.
To build the list. If we are putting a ton of people in the top of the funnel using this cool event marketing approach, which you can totally do in UpHex, by the way, you can automate it and make it like, and by the way, if I were doing this, I would charge $4K to do the promotion. One time though, it would be a one-time charge, $4K to do the promotion. And then the recurring monthly would be a $297. Okay. And $297, I'd install G&B chat. I'd install a database reactivation that would follow a workflow for 2 months. And it's funny that I did not tell him that, you guys. And if you're one of our 84 participants, you know, I've said this a couple of times, I would do it quarterly. I would refill the top. I would fill up the list, and then I would harvest, and I would rinse and repeat, because I can do back to school, like back to school stuff. I can do the exact same promotion for Valentine's Day, for Christmas, for any holiday, any reason there is a, hey, it's St. Patrick's Day.
The seasons are great. Yeah. The seasons give you the reason, right? Oh, and
I like that.
That's beautiful. The season
nailed it.
Okay.
All right,
Trademarked.
I was going to say, yeah, it's going to be trademark chaseism.
Now, this point is one that I love to talk about, because again, I feel like this is like a 101 that seems so obvious, but yet we as marketers overlook it, which is, again, if I were to go back into the market, I told you I do websites, and part of my website would be, what is your first time offer? Every business, the call to action on their site should be a first time offer. And if you're a customer already and you see this new thing and you're like, what about me? Great, you get it too, one time, right? That offer has to live everywhere. So when I go to your Instagram profile and I click it, I get a Linktree page with the same offer. And if I go to here, I see it. Every business needs their, what is your welcome offer? Yeah. Just by doing that, you will generate them. You will consistently build their database. And now it's just a matter of reactivation. Now your seasonal events are like, like throwing gas on that fire, and you're doing a huge generation to the database in one go. But there's more effort and that goes into that planning, right? Now you got to run a webinar, this kind of stuff. But if you just set a business up and help them understand and flesh out what is their first time offer, their welcome offer going to be. And this is the beauty of niching, right? Once you niche and you do it once or twice and it works, then you tell them, hey, you should have a welcome offer that is this, right? Yes, exactly. And now all we have to do is reactivate, right? So even if it's once a quarter, what is going to be your spring promotion? What is going to be your summer promotion? What is going to be your fall and your winter? And if you want to pay us a little bit more, we will push the button for you. If you want us to, here's the training if you want to do it yourself. But at the end of the day, if a business is consistently generating new leads and consistently reactivating them, it'll be a very healthy business. Marketing doesn't need to be much more complicated than that.
Love it. All right. This is fun. We're going to keep going here. All right. Now, this is an interesting one. This one came up because
restaurants are my sweet spot.
Okay. I have said previously, I would never do restaurants. Okay. And
It's good advice.
we had our founders meeting the other day, and I was telling them what you and I were doing today. And Jacob said, "Oh, I would do restaurants." I'm like, "Dude, restaurants? Why would you do restaurants?" So I don't want to give away his answer. Well, I feel like you're going to come up with the same answer he did. So this is the niche. Okay. Restaurants, marketing is expensive. I mean, if you're trying to get the margins in food, I don't know what they are, but I imagine they're probably 15, 20%, something like that.
Yeah.
It's tough. Marketing, is that right?
Yeah, it's really low. I mean, I think if you can get to like the 30s, you're a top level restaurant.
Yeah. Okay. So marketing is expensive, and we need people, like masses of people, faster. Like time is our enemy. Okay. So here's my proposed promised outcome. We'll launch or relaunch your restaurant and build you a customer base of new customers. I need to work on that. I literally came up with this yesterday after a meeting. So that's not a great promised outcome. It needs more detail. It needs more like when you tell somebody your outcome, they need to see it. Like the words that you use need to make them go, oh, like the previous one, event marketing, getting clients in batches. That's all very visual. All right. Irresistible offer. We'll double your new customers in 30 days with our proven discount offer formula. I mean, I was like, geez, what do you do for food? That's kind of it. Try it free for your first promotion. Like do a promotion. The terms are, if you get a certain amount, then you season into a customer. Now, I didn't come up with this model. I threw it in here and I was like, I wonder what Chase is going to say. So what do you want to add to that?
Yeah, so I have worked with a lot of restaurants, and I still help a couple of my friends here in PV that have restaurants and bars. And it's a tough industry, like you said. There's not much margin. They don't have a lot of money to spend. However, they have some unique advantages that other industries don't, which is most people would not mind and would actually enjoy being on a list of their favorite restaurant, which means they welcome reactivations. Whereas most people feel like it's spam, right? In most other industries. Yeah. So exactly what we've been talking about. This is what I would do. And you've brought this up a couple of times and I want to point it out. If you're young in this agency game, you have to quickly get to the point where you clearly define the type of clients that you work with. Yes. And you say no to anyone who doesn't pass that filter, right? So yes. We will launch your restaurant. I don't work with startup restaurants. Sorry. 1 out of 5 of you are going to be gone within the first 12 months. And that's just not good odds, right? You don't want to work with startups. I don't care what industry it's in. We work with restaurants that have been in business for at least 2 years, that have at least this many tables in their restaurant. You know what I mean? You got to stack the deck in your favor. Yeah. And say no to the ones that don't qualify. So that being said,
and just to, I'll let you keep going here, but that's why it's important to understand a niche. Yeah. Because I clearly have no experience in this niche, and I didn't spend, I mean, I couldn't have come up with a certain amount of tables and time. I wouldn't have come up with that. I do that in my own niche, a version of that. Yeah. But that's why you guys, when I've gone through, my other trainings, the one we did previously, that's why I bang the drum so much on having a niche avatar, because they have such unique problems that if you only understand them at a surface level, you're not going to like produce a result for them. So I wanted to make sure that we didn't gloss over that. He's done this niche before. It's really important to make your avatar that specific as well. So I'll let you keep going.
Yep, that's exactly right. And same thing. Our agency used to work with a lot of med spas. We didn't work with med spas that didn't offer cool sculpting, right? Because we knew it was the best body sculpting thing at the time. And if you didn't have it, it meant you were working with a dud product, and it wasn't stacking the deck in our favor, right? So you got to figure that kind of stuff out. Anyway, let's get to a restaurant. They qualify through our filter or whatever. What is your first time offer? You don't have one? Okay, great. Here's how we're going to make one. What's your lowest cost appetizer on your menu? Oh, well, for my friend Joe Jack, it was this fava bean bruschetta. Delicious. Comes with 3 of them. I said, great. I want to give them away, 1 of them. instead of 3, you get 1, right? But you get it for free. You go to the website, you put in your name, email, phone number, and then we automate you back your voucher for your free bruschetta. And now I nurture you into reservation. Reservations, not customers. I'll promise you X amount of reservations a month because that's what I know you really want. Okay, great. So what happened? Thousands of people claimed this thing. Thousands of people showed up to cash in their free bruschetta, and thousands of people paid for higher ticketed meals while they were there, which is great. I'm consistently building the database, right? And by the way, it got to the point where he told me to turn it off. Shocker, right?
Yeah.
But the point was, by that time, he already had 6,000 or 7,000 people in the database. So now, here's my other stipulation. I will only work with restaurants who are willing to add one new dish to their menu that is only available for that month. Because why? Now my reactivation is done for me. What is the new dish of the month? Give me the beautiful picture of it. I send it out to your database. And what happens when we see a picture of a delicious looking thing that we know has limited availability? We want it. So we make a reservation. And it's literally that easy to build a machine for a restaurant. Now, the problem is, again, they don't have a ton of money. So you need to be able to sell them low ticket software and hopefully train them to send their own reactivations. Or, the ones that can afford it will pay you to do it for them. But UpHex, I love it because it's a way to continually feed the database at a higher rate, right? Run a $5 a day, $10 a day local ad that's going to constantly get people claiming the offer, the first time offer. And then the more people that claim, the more they're in the database, the more people that get the new thing every month, the more reservations that happen every month. And so it works very, very well. But again, you just have to stack the deck in your favor. Don't work with a startup that's, dead before it was born. Make sure they have enough seats that you can fill. Make sure they're willing to create something new every month and, give you the story behind it. Because if I send you a picture of this incredible truffle ravioli thing, and the story is it's on the menu because the chef's grandmother back in Italy used to make it for him every Sunday, like I'm tearing up just hearing that story, right?
I'm getting hungry, dude.
That's what, it doesn't have to be a discount. It doesn't have to be a free thing. It's that. And so no matter the industry, I think that's a valid point. Is like, again, you niche and then you create an incredible nurture. And a lot of times with restaurants, it's easy because like invented, what new dish do you want to do? But in other industries, the products and the services are set. It's up to you to go create beautiful stories around the outcomes that these products and services deliver. And that is your reactivation stuff that goes in and is what really moves the needle. And that's the side of things I've always loved, because it's where you get to be creative. And when you do figure it out, you use it for every customer in your industry and it works for every one of them. But that's how I would do restaurants.
So here's what I'll just put a little pin on restaurants. Number one, if you were looking at restaurants, he just gave you the entire game plan, right? I will make sure that we cut this, like we'll cut each of them out. You should re-watch this. If you're wanting to go into that niche, definitely do exactly what he said, because, and so that's point number one. Point number two is, there are people making money in these different niches that you would not imagine. I got people that are crushing with trash bin cleaning, dance studios, which you would think dance studios, they won't make very much money, crushing it with dance studios. Chase doing a niche that I wouldn't go into because, I know it's tough, but he just totally, you should probably own a restaurant because you know how to build a customer base and keep them coming back.
Pizza shop is in my destiny. Here's a couple other things I would say to sort of hammer home this point. It's really hard to go sell a restaurant $1,000, a $15,000 or $1,500 to $2,500 monthly package. Like that ain't happening. But I could sell them a $97 a month software that does the following, right? Like my buddy Joe Jack. I built him a website in high level. I made a calendar for him for reservations, and I automate the text, right? So when you get the offer, you get the nurture, you book a reservation, now you're getting text messages saying, hey, traffic's always busier than people think. Make sure you leave with enough time. If you know, and then before, hey, we have you down for 7 tonight. Are you still available? Because if not, we need to free up your table. These types of things. The person who mans that is like a 72-year-old curmudgeon who I promise you can barely open his phone. But high level makes it so easy for him to manage the reservations. And if I go in there right now, I see him in back and forth in conversations, like ha-ha-haing people. Like, he has a blast in there. Even though they told me to turn off the Facebook ads driving to the free bruschetta, they happily pay for the software every month because it's a utility. It's the system. It's how they run the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
And so if you're not a high level customer, I would highly suggest checking it out, because the automated value gets you your low ticket, super low churn starting point. And then if you want to sell higher on top of it, you can. But again, just know that it's going to cancel whether you do poorly or too well.
Awesome. All right, let's move on to the next one. So this is the last one, and then we will put a pin on this. Now you'll notice I swapped it around here. My retention model are Facebook ads. Okay.
Yeah.
Meaning in this case, where everything else has been leading with, some type of promotion. I mean, really one of the things that people love the idea of Facebook ads, especially when it's software, because the sizzle is leads a ton of people really fast. That's very attractive.
Mm-hmm.
However, in this case, so it's solar. Okay. And in this exact case, what we've done is we have narrowed it down to companies with existing sales teams, but they're just wanting more revenue. So my promised outcome, my irresistible offer, I'm going to leave that up to you. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to retain them by whatever you build into those two things, we're going to retain them by allowing them to run their own ads with UpHex.
Okay. This was interesting because I've never actually worked in this industry. So here's how I would sort of flesh this out backwards. I would first talk to one of you who works in this industry and say, I'm assuming the offer is always a free audit of your bill, right? Hey, you want to know how much it'll cost to take your electricity bill to zero. And
okay.
There's a calculator that happens in that, right? So my offer would be, my end offer, like in my ads, would be, claim a free calculator scan of your whatever, like a free estimate, however they phrase that.
Yep.
And then I would figure out, okay, well, what is the average value of a solar sale? I'm assuming it's pretty high.
Yeah, it's pretty high.
And then I would just do the numbers, because I know that if I implement lead nurture, I will perform, I would even be confident enough to say 50% better than any company who's not.
Yeah.
And so I would just do the math and say, look, I basically guarantee you that I'll generate you X amount more than you're already generating on your own right now by you running my proven ads with my proven lead nurture behind it. And then I turn on all my secret tricks in high level, like GMB chat, text widget on their website, missed call text back, and collectively all of that will just smash the expectation every time.
So when I was younger, I did door-to-door alarm sales. And so when I was looking at this, I was thinking about the reason I put unique problems. This shouldn't be a problem. Companies with existing sales teams wanting more. So the unique problem is, how much are we losing by not following up, by not nurturing past contacts that are made by our sales team? Right. So one of the things that I would want to do, and I've not been in solar, but I can tell you by being a person that's going door to door, I had every opportunity to take notes and say, Sam Carlson said to come back next winter or whatever it was, and actually create a lead because I'm out knocking doors. Right. And so all of those opportunities are lost. That's number one. Number two, most of these solar companies, solar companies, alarm companies, anybody with door-to-door sales teams, they are normally a door-to-door sales guy or gal that's like, why am I making my boss all this money? I know how to sell solar. I'm going to go do this myself. So what things are they not doing to capture sales? So let me just reframe this as another, a question upon a question. I'd say, let's make sure we can get them a website that makes them some money, which will reframe part of this irresistible offer, I think. Here's my question to you, Chase. What should every website have to capture sales for any company, and in this case, solar?
Well, a clear call to action. So
Okay.
you hit the site and it's claim your free estimate.
Okay.
It should have, in my opinion, a high level web chat widget on it so people can text in. And it should have a missed call text back in place so that when people call and we don't answer, because we know statistically businesses miss more than half their calls every day, it texts them back. So to your point, this is a great business model because you're going after businesses that are already doing well, but they want more.
Yes.
And if I know that the average business cannot be text messaged, right, which is the preferred method that we all prefer to communicate in, I know they miss calls, and I know they don't know that Google Business even has chat. I know I can go to every successful solar company on the planet and quickly audit those three things and then confidently say, I 100% know I can give you more. And it's all super scalable. And if you want to scale it even faster, turn on UpHex. But the point is, I've stacked the deck so much in my favor, right? Because you don't even know about these things that are available that would give you more. If you did, you'd already have them turned on. And if you already have them turned on, well, then you're not an ideal customer for me.
That's right.
But I'm just going to go around looking for the solar companies that are already doing well and say, I can 20X, I can, I can double you, I can whatever. They think I'm a magician, like auditing every call and manually texting them back. But of course I'm not. This is software, right? And so I love this type of model. Again, look for the businesses that are already doing well, that just aren't up with the times. And you will blow their mind. Like, to your point, let's say they have a sales team. If all they're doing is working the phones and I introduce a text message system to them, asynchronous communication is way more scalable than phones. It will literally blow their minds apart.
Yes.
And so I just
want to throw,
it's like, if you're doing well in the old school model, wait till I turn on,
exactly,
the 2023 option. And your minds are going to be blown, and you're going to be happy to pay me $497 a month for my system. And if you want to pay me $750 a month or $1,000 a month, I'll turn on some ads and we'll pour some gas on this thing.
Yeah. So I say this quite frequently, a tactic known as a tactic blown. And the way that most agencies are approaching solar is the old SMMA model, right? That's changing a lot now with UpHex, right? So when people go to a solar company and say, hey, generate your own leads, that's good. That's awesome, right? However, if you wanted to approach them in a way to where it's like, hey, we're going to increase your sales by whatever percent, like all these opportunities, these missed opportunities, you have a leaky bucket. We're going to start there. We're going to plug all the holes in your bucket. And by the way, you'll never have to deal with it ever again. So that's number one. Okay. Which one other thing I would add to the website personally for a solar company would be exit intent. If they go to exit intent, I'd have a pop-up and I'd be like, that's my last opportunity, and see how many leads I can generate with that. Now, not a database reactivation would absolutely be part of it. Now, that's not part of the website, but that would be absolutely part of it. Those would be, if I was going into solar and if I wanted to make my back end offer ads, I would approach them and say, you've got a leaky bucket. The cool part is you already know how to sell. You're a sales machine. I remember being a sales machine personally. And I will be honest with you guys, 15 years ago, I kind of thought sales and marketing were the same thing. Like I did not, I did not understand the nuance between the two. And I was a guy going door to door. I'm like, I guess this is marketing, right?
Let me drop some serious nuggets here.
I love it.
A killer sales guy, traditional one, closes like a beast on the phone, right?
Yeah.
if that person can type, you can run 10 sales conversations in chat at the same time.
Yeah.
And then if I introduce you to a text shortener like Text Expander, where you can be, like, I don't know, do you guys know what I'm talking about? Like,
I have no idea what is that?
let me show you. Okay, so you guys can see my notepad here, right?
Yes.
So there are certain things that I type all the time, right? Like if I'm going to invite Sam to be a guest on our podcast and I need to send them the link, I just type : spotlight and Text Expander. Oh, didn't work because I just did it, I guess. Spits out the link, right? So I can save any snippet I want and give it a hotkey. And anywhere on my computer, if I type : whatever the hotkey, it'll throw in, could be a whole paragraph, could be multiple paragraphs, could be a link, whatever. If I train a sales guy to be able to do this and then give him a text platform to have 10 conversations at the same time, it's lights out. You know what I mean?
That's amazing.
I remember I had a buddy when, this is a funny story, true story actually. When I started my first agency and it failed, I needed to get some money before I got into my next idea. And so I had a buddy who was a headhunter. And he was like, come work for me. Your communication skills are great. And I'm like, what are we headhunting? I don't even know what this is. And he's like, we are filling positions at a software company for this bank, or this banking software company. So he starts showing me how he's doing something. He's going, finds a candidate on LinkedIn, spending minutes reading their profile, and then he's spending 10 minutes crafting an email to them. And it's just a numbers game, right? And I'm like, okay, so you need to reach out to like 200 people to get X amount of responses, and then that usually ends up into X amount of candidates, whatever. It's taking you like a week to get that many things out. So I'm like, watch this. So I set this up for him and I learned the things that he's saying. I'm cranking out 200 in like a couple of hours. He was like so blown away that I had just revolutionized his business just because he didn't know what could be done nowadays, right?
What did you call it again?
I think the most popular one is called Text Expander. The one that we use is called Type Desk. But it's just snippets, right? It's like hotkey activated snippets. There's a bunch of options out there.
Well, I've got my team of my call center that's doing all this stuff. A lot of what they do is by text. So I don't know if they're doing this or not. I mean, Jacob seems to know this kind of stuff.
Will's saying TextPad works on your mobile device as well. There you go. It's amazing, right? Like these little things. And then you mentioned, the other thing that's great is solar is, when you pay no money on your solar bill, it's amazing, right? So it would not be very hard for me to put together 12 really great case studies that I can turn into 12 emails that I can plug into any solar company for their long-term nurture. And I can generate leads out of that 100%, right? And so it's like, again, if you're already doing well, but you don't have a long-term nurture and I plug it in, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to do it a little bit better, right? And so you stack all these little bit betters together, it becomes a whole lot better. And it's $500 a month. Like who would say no to that? And the thing is, you need to do the math, right? I don't know the industry averages, but my guess is I could go sell my white label version of High Level with everything with UpHex and what we're talking about for $1,500 a month, because I know they're high ticket, right? So it's like, if I generate you 20 a month, that's worth probably hundreds of thousands of dollars to you, right? So once you know your industry, you can, work with the math.
Exactly. Work it backwards. All right. I know we went through all of those models really fast, and that was somewhat by design, building on top of the previous week and what we look, how to create irresistible offers, how to monetize this, how to keep people. It is nuanced. Okay. You need to do some mental gymnastics. You need to know what tools you have available inside of High Level and UpHex. All right. So it is the 1-2 combo. And we've designed it to where you can really build an agency that makes a ton of money. So you can send me pictures of you on the beach, right? Making money while you're sitting there on the beach. Now, Chase, I know that I messed up the scheduling of this. Normally what I'll do is I'll open this up for 30 minutes of Q&A, which I will continue to do. I don't expect you to
Let's
stick
do
around
it. I
if you
actually
have
don't have
okay.
anything right behind you.
All right. So let's go ahead and we will do Q&A. I have not been looking at the chat. So what I'm going to do is if you want to raise your hand, I will have you come on first. I got John at Rocket Pro. So go ahead and John. Go ahead, John. Go ahead and raise your hand, you guys, and I'll bring you on that way for now.
Yeah, I'd love to hear kind of your thoughts on that kind of that three-step plan of the retention, the lead generation on when it comes to real estate.
Okay. You want to take that, Chase?
Real estate, again, is an industry I've never worked in, and I probably never would, but I understand it's very popular. So when you say retention, are you you're charging realtors? Those are your customers?
Yeah.
So realtors, to me, it's just like most industries, it's a speed to lead, right? They get a lead and they need to be on it. And so to me, again, the software that does that for them. Here's the thing, we haven't talked about the 5-minute window. Hopefully everybody understands that there's statistics and studies out there that prove over and over again that basically you got to engage with the lead within 5 minutes. And if you don't, the odds that you ever close the lead statistically are like 0. So most businesses, it's impossible for them to engage leads in 5 minutes. The realtors driving around, filling up their car, you know what I mean? Like putting signs on the ground, all that kind of stuff. So you got to take it out of their hands. And that's where automated lead nurture comes in. So every lead that comes in, I'm going to ensure to you that they're going to get an email, a text message, a voicemail, and we have this thing called a call connect, where basically I would call the realtor. If they answer, a robot says, you have a new lead and their name is Sam Carlson, press any key to connect with Sam. If they push a key, then we call Sam. If he answers, we bridge the call. So I can tell you in the first 5 minutes, every lead, I'm going to email them, text them. If they don't reply to the text, I'm going to send them a voicemail and I'm going to call you and try to connect you with them. And that's light years away from anything they've ever been able to do, right? So that right there will retain them at a low enough ticket, right? They're not going to pay maybe $2,500 a month for that, but they will pay $297, $397 a month. And then if I pair that with things like a long-term nurture, right? Success stories of the homes that I've sold or the buyers that I've gotten sold. All that kind of stuff adds up to this, again, automated utility bill that I'm happy to pay for. What I love about UpHex is, and I don't get money from Sam to say it.
We need to get you something.
I want one of those doodles on a t-shirt.
I'll get you one.
I have always said, and we talked about this before, whoever's running ads is the first person to get cut because people have unreal expectations from ads. Businesses are used to referrals, meaning family, friends have already pre-sold these people. They come in, it's an easy sale. Businesses start running ads on the internet and they're like, these leads stink. They can't understand why it's not the same thing. And so whoever's running the ads is always the first person on the chopping block. UpHex is amazing because now it's just a feature that they can turn on or off themselves, right? So they're paying me the utility bill for my $497 software that's doing all these things. If they want to turbocharge it, then the button's right there. They can do it. And if they get too many leads, then great, they can turn it off. But it gets me out of that weird chopping block zone. That is the truth with traditional lead gen.
Could I say something?
Well, hold on real quick. Let me put a pin on this real estate one real quick. And then we've got some, let me do this real quick. So I think one of the things with real estate is you have to realize what market environment you're in. Okay. Now, when we go into recession, when housing prices are changing and all that kind of stuff, it doesn't mean that people aren't buying. It just means that the real estate agents that are still in don't know how to find the ones who are. So I would rejigger my offerings and my ads to promote the best, like get on my list, and I'm going to send you a list of the best deals every week. And I'm going to do even more deep diving on these deals. Why are these the best deals? We've spoken with the buyer's agent or the seller's agent, and they are, motivated. I would actually probably have like a highlighted marking system, like seller really motivated, actually confirmed motivated. And I would be doing this type of thing because there are people that always have to move. whether it's relocation, whatever, family circumstances, divorce, whatever it is, they have to buy and sell. That's always going to happen. But the volume at which it's happening, if you want to be smart, you got to nuance your offer. So I would be changing things to do, a list or something like that. And then I'll go ahead. So Noel, what's your question?
I happen to be a realtor and I'm very successful with the Facebook ads, and I love UpHex because now we can multiply ourselves out with templates. And what we've come across and experienced is with high level, it's very easy to get an agent in love with a Google review campaign that goes off as soon as an item a property closes. And most CRMs for real estate are missing a transaction pipeline. So with the pipelines, we can know exactly where a lead is coming from, if they've responded to us, and then all the way down to the end of offers made, contracts, attorney review, everything else, and then a final closed and stuff. So it's very easy once you show those parts to it. And realtors don't have time to learn how to do Facebook ads. It took me a long time to figure out how to do it, figure out what verbiage will work, and figure out, and again, a lot of realtors aren't business people, so they don't understand that when times change, you might have to change your niche. Like right now, if you say reduced in my area in New Jersey, if you put out a list of reduced homes, if you go back for the first time home buyers, which have been left out of the previous boom of the last 2 years, or if you go after 55 plus because they're ready to cash out.
Smart.
So it's all, I mean, UpHex is amazing and High Level is amazing because they take all the pieces that have been missing for our industry, and it has put us back out on the road, and
awesome.
and everything's neat and organized, and we're doing more transactions and we save more money because of this combo.
Amazing.
And my leads on Facebook are less than $3 a piece.
Woo.
That's
Crushing
awesome.
it. Well done, Noel. Well done.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for the insight there. That's awesome. All right. Let's go to Lori. Lori, you got your hand up. I'll go ahead and lower it here.
Thank you, Sam. I appreciate it. Thank you, Chase, for being here with us. Really appreciate it. My question, I just had 2 questions. First of all, on I love the missed call text back. And what do we do when it's an established business who has an established phone number, or it's a tradesperson or someone who has it going to their mobile and they don't want to port their number? How do we get through this number thing using what you're talking about, which is, I just want the easy button. And there are numbers everywhere, and we can't, and we can't get it into High Level because they don't want to port it into High Level, that sort of thing. And then I do have a second question, but go ahead with that one.
So I'll give you my snarky answer and then my real life answer.
Yeah.
My snarky answer is, part of my filtering system would probably be, do you think that people have memorized your phone number? Oh, you do? Okay, we don't work with people who think their customers have memorized their number. 2, I would say my non-snarky answer is, oh, no problem. This is a marketing system that's going to generate business for you around what you already have in existence. And then but I would say so Google, all that really matters is Google My Business, right? And it has 2 slots. So we just push the real number to the second slot and we put the new number in the first. Most businesses are completely fine with that. If for some reason they're not fine with that, then again, I can't work with you because you don't want me to generate you more business. Okay, sorry, other people do. So I'm going to go talk to them. I don't even I wouldn't even get hung up on like, no, you have to let me replace the number on your website or stuff like that. Now, if they're like, oh, but it comes to my phone and that for me is a problem. It's like, you want to run your business from your personal phone number. that's a red flag to me. Most businesses do not. You should separate your business from your personal life or whatever. But again, it's so easy. It's like, you can still do what you're doing. I'm just going to put an app on your phone that's going to bring in text messages and calls through the app. So when it buzzes, just hit the notification and talk to the person. And most of the times it's not a big deal. If it is a big deal, for me, it's a red flag, because it's like you're in an old school mentality and you think that you have a magical phone number for some reason that has so much brand equity that, it's a delusion, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So where are we replacing their phone number? Why GMB, I can see where they wouldn't really care because most of them aren't even attached to that. But their website, they may care. Their business cards, they're going to care. Their collateral, they're going to care. Where's the line?
Until they start seeing the results, and then typically they'll say, you know what, this is working, let's make it work. And because it's like, yeah, well, it'll work more if you would let me switch your number everywhere.
Got it.
Chase, can I ask you one question about since we're on the phone number thing?
Mhm.
One of the things that I'm not a website, I'm not awesome with websites, but I had asked earlier about like the minimum viable things that should be on every website. Click to call.
Mhm.
Click to call features. Like if you are on a mobile phone looking at whatever it is, and there's a phone number and you click your finger on the phone number and it doesn't call, shame on that business. And they just lost money, because there's no way in hell that person is going to go and be like, okay, I'm going to go and like,
you just brought up a really sneaky point. You could do click to call and in the code have it call the new number, but on the site, the text is the old number.
Jeremiah is getting like, he's like, oh yeah, that's
a
what
good
I
trick.
do.
But for me, again, I'm not concerned about calls. I just need to make sure I put the chat widget on your site, because that's a gateway into a text conversation. And that's really what people don't want to call. If they see that they can text you, that's what they're going to do. My other answer is I typically don't even use or rely on their homepage, because I install my own landing page that's a template that I know works and that I know looks great on mobile and I know is going to outperform their homepage anyway. And on that page, I'll put my number on it, because you might even not know that's where I'm driving the traffic if that's what I'm doing. But I think the combination of what we just talked about, I mean, Sam's sneaky idea, that's really interesting. I had never thought about that, but that's a really good way to do it, actually, because what do they care? Just that people are seeing their real number, right? And so who cares if when I click, it's actually dialing the high level number? That's pretty interesting. I like that.
All right. Lori, was there a second question there? And then we'll go to Remod Robot.
Thanks. It was just on asking if we could take a look what we did with restaurants and solar, if we could take a look at any trades. It doesn't matter to me which one would be picked. And I know solar's kind of a trades, but like a trades guy, kitchen remodel, roofer, I don't care what it is.
Yeah. These are great businesses. The missed call text back is probably the most valuable for them, because they miss a ton of calls and they're all high ticket sales. So you get one of them back a week and they're making tons of money and are super happy with you. The other is, and this goes overlooked, the value of just turning a business into text can't be overstated, right? Because these types of businesses are kind of always on the go. They're in and out of the jobs, this and that. Like for them to manage phone conversations is super difficult. But when you turn it all, and most phone nowadays is spam, right? It's so annoying. So when you turn it all into SMS, where they can quickly see what's real and what's not, and they can reply on their time, it's an asynchronous conversation. We see more and more people selling high level on that alone. Hey, what if I turned all of your phone situation into text and gave it to you in an app on your phone? Oh my gosh, that would be incredible. And then, they turn on all the other bells and whistles and they're floored. But I think just that for those types of businesses is huge. Most of the time, those businesses could use a little GMB cleanup that I'd probably do for them. Most of those businesses don't have a first-time offer in place. Most of those businesses don't have a long-term nurture in place. Most of those businesses have never used a pipeline, right? They can't see like where everyone's at in, this sales process that they probably never had before that starts with a lead magnet or free lead offer or whatever. So there's tons of things that you can do, but the easiest, lowest hanging fruit, again, is missed call text back, get them the ability to text message people, turn on GMB chat, you know what I mean? Make sure that they have, you know, Linktree pages to me are so silly, but they're so powerful because most websites still stink. So instead of linking their socials to their homepage, which doesn't look great on mobile, link it to a template that you built that's hyper mobile optimized, that has the chat widget on it, that has the first time offer on it. All of these things collectively, you're a world away from where they were.
Thank you. And what would be kind of a price point range for that? And then that's the end of my questions.
$497 all day long. I mean,
just going in with that low level, low hanging fruit, just to get them in, you know, say, what would be the offer like? I'll do this and this and this for this much. If I was contacting them all day long.
Yeah. And again, it's how much would you make if I generated you an extra sale a week? And what are they going to say? A couple $1,000. Okay, great. I can do that. It's $497 a month. How are you going to do that? Does it really matter? Right? Like, I love the analogy of like, if you were dying of a heart attack and you needed surgery, are you going to be like, whoa, 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 doc, what brand of scalpel are you about to use on me? Right? Like, of course not. And so that's the mentality I would want to be in, which is just, yeah, you just told me that if I generate you one sale a week, it would be worth $6,000 to you. Yeah. My software costs $497. It's going to generate way more than that. Let's get started.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off of what Chase is saying, just in terms of framing your conversations. He was exactly right. Okay, so how much money could you make? You guys want to be asking the question or framing it this way: how much money are you losing right now?
Sure.
Because that's twofold. Number one, that means there's somebody that has sales coming in. Okay. So that's qualifier number one. Those are going to be your best people. Number two, I did this last week. I don't do many sales calls for my agency anymore, but my sister-in-law was like, hey, we have, she's a therapist, and they have a whole group of therapists. There's 140 therapists at this clinic or at this office, and they've got 6 different locations. And you want to know what my very first question to the owner of that business was? I'm like, how much do you think you guys are losing every month? He goes, I don't know, like 60 patients. I'm like, how much is a patient? It's like $2,000. I'm like, dude, you're losing 120 grand a month? He's like, yes, we are. I'm like, we're going to fix that. That's all I had to do. The entire thing, I went back to them. And you know what's funny about this? Jacob, my partner, I said, dude, do we want to do this? With everything we got going, I don't know that. He's like, he goes, with high level, I can whip this up and get it done. Even customizing all the stuff that they need, I can get it done in like 3 or 4 hours. Let's do it. I'm like,
see, that's the thing. You do what you just said, but when you do it enough times in an industry, you don't even have to ask them how much it's worth. You already know. So you're like, you just told me you're probably missing 60 patients a week. I know that's costing you 120 grand because I know the average patient's 2 grand. And they go, wow, this guy knows his stuff. And it just makes it even easier.
All right.
We are moving right along here. Answer that question, I would just activate GMB, put the chat widget on their site, turn on the missed call text back, and that's where I would start.
Throw on exit intent as well.
Mm-hmm.
Those are free leads.
An offer, yeah.
All right. Remod robot.
Yeah, what's up? My name's actually Johan. I just didn't change it there.
Johan, what's up, buddy?
What's up? Yo, you guys are spitting some fire today. Thank you so much for all these.
Well, you bring in the fire with that mustache. What's up with that? I mean,
yeah, usually it's twirly, but I've been like chopping it down and trying to get it thicker. You know what I mean? So maybe next call it'll be even bigger. You know, I'm trying to get one of those huge ones going.
Awesome, very manly. I like it. What's your question?
Thank you very much. Yeah, so I got a couple questions. The first one, I'm just kind of I have some questions about onboarding. Like, how far would you guys go in terms of automating onboarding? Because obviously having that one-on-one with a new customer is kind of important to get them going. So how far would you actually automate that? Because I know that, Sam, you have some videos about like having 4 onboarding calls and then having that whole process, but obviously that's a lot of like manpower that's needed. So yeah, how would you do like a slow automated onboarding? Is that even a viable thing? Or
yes, it is. Yeah, I would say I had this conversation yesterday with one of our new top affiliates who's doing numbers, serious numbers, and he's got a great plan, but he asked the same question. And the answer is you can 100% automate it, right? I can make a course for you to onboard yourself. I just have to understand the upside of that is that I don't waste time. I get a lot of my time back. The downside is I'm going to lose a lot of those. My churn is going to be much higher. I like having an eject button in there that just says, you know what, I'd rather pay to have this set up for me, and then charge enough where you can pay someone to do it for you, and then you can do both.
That's a great, was that Thomas, by the way?
No, his name's Max, I think.
Okay.
One of these new young guns.
Oh yeah. No, I've seen, he's got a YouTube channel. I'll answer your question to piggyback. I think Chase is right. I'll piggyback off of this on how I do it. And in fact, I believe Lori's actually going to go sign up for my agency and record the whole thing. Like how we do it. Now I'm charging more for my DIY services than I tell you guys to charge. Part of that is because I'm very deliberate at the beginning, and we kind of do it hybrid a little bit. And that works, that tends to work in my niche. I wouldn't do it in every niche, but my niche, I have found that, like, okay, so I'm $697 for DIY marketing, right? We're selling at that right now. So when they go in, they do an onboarding. The onboarding is in person with Jonathan. He does my onboarding calls. They watch a 10-minute video that I made, which I also put that 10-minute video on my YouTube channel. You can go watch it. That whole thing is just to say, like, I know my niche. I know they're coming from other bad experiences. I know they have been plagued with SMMA agencies before, and I am not an SMMA agency, even though I'm offering ads. So I'm taking them through almost a re-indoctrination process. And so they watch a video, it's 10 minutes, and then Jonathan is onboarding them, and he does a really great job. And then at the end of that call, they launch an ad themselves. Okay. So reframe, re-educate, onboard, and then result outcome. The outcome I promised them was launch an ad. If I don't do that on their first call, I fail. Okay. So that's the promised outcome. And then I chase that. So that's a one-on-one call. Now, we used to do several calls, and then, you know, the more you do things, the more you test them out, the more you try them, the better you get at them. So now we do 2 group calls the weeks after. Okay. It's too much in my agency. It's too much to say, launch your ads. Now, here's all the stuff you can do in high level. So goal number 1 is boom, launch your ads. Goal number 2 is you come to the Tuesday group meeting. My director of operations is on there. She's like, all right, you guys are on for your first week. You've probably seen these leads coming through. Here's how to use high level. Now we're MVP, minimum viable product. We're going, here's the opportunities tab. Here's what you're doing. We're not getting crazy with them. Okay. We do that once. And then we do it a second time, and we're basically reiterating, maybe building on that a little bit, but that's what we do. And then after that, it's assess where they're at, assess who they are. What do they need? Because for the price point we're charging and everything else, they're either going to, swim at that price point, or they need my call center or something else. Okay. Now, the reason I asked you if that was Thomas is because he's an up and coming YouTube guy, and he loves high level, and he's using UpHex as well.
Nice.
And he is using, and actually, Chase, I wanted to talk to you about this. I don't know if we have time to get into it now. He is using user flow to effectively, and the reason in my mind, you can correct me if this is wrong, he's onboarding them automated, and then they're going through user flow, which is a product mapping
self-guided.
Yeah. But here's what I don't like about those tools.
Yeah,
I don't like that I click on something and it tells me what it does. I want you to give me a chronological step 1, step 2, step 3 outcome.
Yeah, and they can do that to a degree, but I'm not a huge fan of those either. Onboarding is the most important point. But
it's the most important part.
But here's the game of it. If you are only charging $297 for high level, if that's your starting offer with high level, you can't afford to be onboarding people for free, right? And so you need to, now maybe you can, maybe you're young and you're living in your mom's basement and you don't have rent to pay. And it's like, cool, I can do this myself. And once I have 20 people, I can afford to pay someone to do it. That works. Another model is the Rob Bailey method, which is he only works with people that have lists already. Maybe it's a restaurant or whatever, they've been running ads and I go into their WordPress and there's a couple thousand people in there. Great, you know what? I'm actually going to do a reactivation for you as I onboard you. And I just put $1,000 into your pocket. So you're happy to pay me the $500 onboarding fee, right? And so however you need to get compensated for your onboarding time or the time or the amount you're going to pay somebody to spend with them onboarding, you have to figure it out because you have to onboard them. If you don't, they're going to churn because people don't know what they're doing, right? And that's the difference between a high-level SaaS company and a real SaaS company, right? Nobody from MailChimp is going to hop on Zoom with me and get me all set up. No, your competitive advantage is that you are going to get on Zoom with them, or you're going to have somebody get on Zoom with them and walk them through and getting up and running and whatnot. But the economics of it, I'm not going to lie, are nuanced, right? If you're in mom's basement, great. You can do free trials and you can do setups yourself and it's all good because you got nothing but time, versus somebody who's trying to quit their job because they hate it and get their agency off the ground. They don't have time to be doing hour-long Zoom calls with everyone. So you might have to go to the model of like, I only work with people I know I can run a reactivation for off the bat, put the money in their pocket. They're happy to, you know, he's got a great spiel. He's like, yeah, I charge $1,500 to onboard you. You put it on your credit card, and before you actually have to pay that off, I'm going to put more than that into your account through a reactivation. And so if you can do that, super powerful, works all day long.
That's Rob, right?
You have to really filter your prospects and make sure that they have a list, you know?
Yeah, I love Rob's stuff. We're actually going to have him on one of these. Spoiler alert. Yeah, that's awesome. Did you have another question?
Yeah, I had one more. That was really good. Thank you. That's going to give me a lot to think about. Yeah, I wish I was still in my mom's basement and I could do it myself, but no, unfortunately, I'm trying to scale, right? So, so another one is kind of a little bit, not so much when you actually have clients, it's actually getting the clients. So currently, I guess as like a side note, we're in like the remodeling niche. And currently we're sending out like a shit ton of emails and doing cold calls and stuff. We're sending like 1,300 emails a day. But we're actually getting like a terrible amount of clients. So what would your guys's strategy be if you had to sign 10 clients a day? Because that's the goal for us right now. 10 clients every single day moving forward up until we're trying to hit a goal by June. So
when you just said terrible, did you mean a lot or we're getting no?
No, we're getting like no new clients. It's insane. Like we're getting an okay response rate, but
okay. Oh, you're getting, hold on. Did you understand the question, Chase?
10 new clients a day?
No, reframe. So the scenario is you're getting leads?
Yeah, so my bad. Maybe I'm talking too fast. I don't want to take up too much time. But yeah, we're sending out like a ton of like outbound, right?
Yeah.
And our actual responses back at us getting to like the meeting rate from lead to meeting is very bad. It's like 1% or less. And we're doing an insane amount of volume. Like we're sending out 30,000 plus emails a month. You know, we're doing
nurture in place.
Yeah, we do have a little nurturing sequence, and we have sending videos to all of the positive replies and all that. It's definitely not where it could be. I'd need to get more on that 100%. But yeah, basically I just wanted to know what you guys would do if you had to get 10 clients a day. Like what, got any crazy tips there?
What industry are you in?
So currently we're doing kitchen and bathroom remodels.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
The key to me in any marketing, and you've probably heard me say this before, I tell marketers again and again, a gifted offer beats a gifted pen, right? It's your offer. That's why I love metrics. They tell you exactly what you want to know. If you're, for example, you got an ad and the link click-through rate is not 1%, your ad, your offer, that is not working.
Yeah.
So I guess number one, kudos to you for the volume, the consistency. That is usually people's problem. They usually won't send out anything. They're like, oh, I sent one email today.
Yeah.
If you want, you're a tweak away from fixing everything. I'd give you two pieces of advice. Go back, rewatch last week's training, because I go through exactly how to create an irresistible offer. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's number one. Number two is you probably aren't there because you're speaking to a category and not a sub niche.
Yeah.
That is the grossest offender of any marketing. Usually sucks because you're like, well, I work with people who do remodeling. What kind of remodeling? What age of houses? What products do you use? What, we got to go deep. We got to go layers deep. Right. And as soon as everybody feels really like they don't want to, on their emails, on their stuff, they don't want to go that granular because they're like, well, there's only like 100 people out there. Those 100 people are going to hear your dog whistle so loud in their ears that they're going to go, I got to sit down and talk to Johan.
Yeah.
So Johan, let me tell you again and again, gifted offer beats a gifted pen. Chase, what do you add?
I don't get the pen part of that phrase, but
well, it used to be
good.
like people think that copywriting is all about using fancy words.
I see.
It's not the fancy words. It's what you're giving.
I thought you meant like you were giving somebody like a golden pen or something like that. Here's what I would say. I love to run an audit offer because when you claim it, my nurture is pretty compelling. And it's, hey, when you hop on this call, I'm going to show you the 14 holes in your bucket, and whether you work with us or not, you're going to need to solve these 14 things. And it's very non-confrontational. It's very non-salesy. It's very, I'm going to just give this to you, whether you work with us or not. And so I would look at what you're saying in that nurture, because it might sound scary. They might think, oh, this is going to cost a lot of money or whatever the verbiage of is that. But if you can get it to the point where it's like, hey, this is going to be super low stress call. We're here to help home remodel agencies or whatever, whether you work with us or not, you're going to leave this call with something of value. Like that type of messaging can really up your show rates because people just feel more comfortable jumping on it.
Yeah. And I would say if you want a really, you got to have a good hook for what he's talking about. He's absolutely right. Go look on YouTube and search for Chet Holmes and Tony Robbins. Chet Holmes, I have two favorite marketers, Chet Holmes, Gary Bencivenga. Those are my favorite guys. And Chet Holmes does a series of 4 different videos with Tony Robbins, and he has something called education-based marketing. It would dovetail in nicely with what Chase just said. So go look at that. It'll give you a really unique approach to doing that. All right, John.
Nobody wants to get on a sales call, right? And that's the last thing you want to make them feel like they're about to hop into.
Exactly. You want to be an advisor, not a salesperson. All right.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You got it, Johan. John Tadros.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, my bad. I was just going to say, this is more of an UpHex type of question. I was kind of curious. So I was doing, ads and all that. I was running a social media marketing agency as well. And I'm kind of curious, is UpHex kind of take into account that you have to kind of warm up an account or anything of that sort? Like with Facebook ads, I know that I got to warm up an account, doing landing page visits, some type of smaller outreach rather than lead generation. Is that something that's taken into account, or is that something we have to educate our clients on?
Yeah, we talk about it in the group in different videos. I have in my, so here's what I do, John, right? What we do, because what you're trying to do to season a Facebook account is hit billing thresholds.
Yep.
Hit billing thresholds without compromising the client's account. So what we do is a typical UpHex account will launch with lead gen, a lead form, a single ad set, and then 4 ads.
Yep.
We take our best marketing campaign and our best ad, and we call it a seasoning campaign. So we just clone it. We remove 3 of the ads. So we have one, so a lead form, ad set, and 1 ad. And then we do that until we hit 3 or 4 different billing thresholds. And then we can launch a full-blown campaign.
Okay. So it would be, I guess, is that something that would kind of be in UpHex already as like a template to offer, or is that something we just kind of have to educate and create on our own?
Well, so the templates that you pull out of the library, you're going to want to modify those anyway. We show you how to do that. We teach you how to do that. And when you're doing your own, it sounds like you've been doing it for a while. Yeah.
Decent time, at least.
Okay. So you'll create your own, and then what you'll do is just clone one of it. And then we call the template seasoning, account seasoning. And so then that way, if they're on a call with like our onboarder and he knows that it's a new account, which he will, Then he's like, okay, so we're going to start with this one. It's a seasoning one. And then once we're done, we'll do the regular campaign. Anyway, all right, you guys, this has been absolutely awesome. We're an hour and 40 minutes. And, you know, I think Chase has got others. I mean, you got to go get yourself some tacos right around now. Don't you, buddy?
Actually, I have another webinar in 20 minutes. So,
oh man. Right. So
but I had
where
tacos
his
this
building is
morning.
at, that's where we did our spotlight. And right around the corner is this really awesome taco place. And we went over there and got some delicious tacos. But I really appreciate you doing this, buddy. This has been awesome. You know, anytime we get to rub shoulders, it's always fun. And I know everybody here has really enjoyed, you know, this. You guys grab the chat. Hasn't this been awesome? I mean, they've been saying it the whole time. Good stuff. Thank you, Chase. Yes, thank you. Awesome. So I'll have you back as many times as you'll come. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, anytime. This has been
awesome.
fun.
Yeah, this is the cool. I do this every Friday. I like to do Ask Anything because you never know where it's going to go. You know?
Yeah, it's fun. Keeps you on your toes.
Keeps you on your toes. Cool. All right, guys. Thanks for coming. There will be a full replay on this. I will try and publish it actually today. Normally I'll do, you know, delayed versions, but I'll publish the full version today so you can go back and rewatch any of the different model stuff or readdress any of the questions. It's been tons of fun, and see you later. Oh, we'll go with some tunes.
If you're on Twitter,
You like those tunes?
say hi. I'm going to put my Twitter handle in here.
Oh yeah.
If you guys are on Twitter, come say hi. That's where I
Hey,
spend most of my time.
are you is that the best place to like?
Yeah, I decided a long time ago I was going to keep my Instagram private for just family and close friends, and it's been a mistake. Every week I have to decline so many people, and I feel so like such an asshole. But yeah, Twitter is where I am wide open.
Yeah, I see you there. All right, buddy. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for having me. See you, everyone.
Man. See you later.